Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: The highest authority for me is the unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom this wonderful creation emanates and in whom its sustenance and dissolution rest. He is the origin of all Prajapatis, the personalities meant to produce living entities in this world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Kardama Muni was ordered by his father Prajapati to produce children. In the beginning of creation, the Prajapatis were meant to produce the large population which was to reside in the planets of the gigantic universe. But Kardama Muni said that although his father was Prajapati, who desired him to produce children, actually his origin was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, because Vishnu is the origin of everything. He is the actual creator of this universe, he is the actual maintainer, and when everything is annihilated, it rests in him only. That is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. For creation, maintenance, and annihilation, there are the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, Shiva, but Brahma and Maheshwara are qualitative expansions of Vishnu. Vishnu is the central figure. Vishnu therefore takes charge of maintenance. No one can maintain the whole creation but he. There are innumerable entities and they have innumerable demands. No one but Vishnu can fulfill the innumerable demands of all the innumerable living entities. Brahma is ordered to create and Shiva is ordered to annihilate. The middle function, maintenance, is taken charge of by Vishnu. Kardama Muni knew very well by his power in progressive spiritual life that Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, was his worshipable deity. Whatever Vishnu desired was his duty and nothing else. He was not prepared to beget a number of children. He would beget only one child who could help the mission of Vishnu. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is a discrepancy in the discharge of religious principles, the Lord descends on the surface of the earth to protect religious principles and to annihilate the miscreants. Marrying and begetting a child is considered to liquidate one's debts to the family in which one is born. There are many debts which are imposed upon a child just after his birth. There are debts to the family in which one is born, debts to the demigods, debts to the pitas, debts to the rishis, etc. But if someone engages only in the service of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who is actually worshipable, then even without trying to liquidate other debts, one becomes free from all obligations. Kardama Muni preferred to devote his life as a servant of the Lord in Paramahamsa knowledge and to beget a child only for that purpose, not to beget numberless children to fill up the vacancies in the universe. That's the Bhaktivedanta purport. And this is the concluding verse of Kardama Muni as he is speaking to Swayambhu Manu, where he is declaring Prajapatinam Patiresha Mahyam Param Pramanam. My ultimate authority is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and Bhagavan Anantaha is the unlimited, the Supreme Opulent Lord. Yato Bhavad Vishwamidham Vichitram. He is the one who has created this world. He is the maintainer, and ultimately everything rests in him after dissolution. So, this example I gave recently, some scientists were analyzing the life of ants just to understand how they manage their food. So they figured out that the ants, they take grains or the seeds and they store it into their nests. their own little godowns. The concept of godown is not only limited to humans. Even ants store these grains. So what they figured out that before storing it into the godown, the ant breaks the seed into two pieces. So the scientists became very curious. Why is it that the ant is breaking that seed grain into two? They understood that when you break that into two pieces, it will not germinate. That means it will not become a plant, or a seedling will not appear in those portions. So the grain remains as it is. So it will never germinate under any favorable circumstance. So the grain remains intact for the ant to consume in the future. In the summer, they are busy collecting all the grains and seeds, and then they break them into these parts, put them into the godowns, and when there is a rainy season and winter season, these stored grains will be the food for all these ants. See how intelligent? And then so when they are analyzing, they found that coriander seed was broken into 4 pieces, not 2. And so they became even more curious. Why is it that the coriander seed, coriander means Telugu? So that seed is broken into 4. And then later on, the scientists figured out that coriander seed, even if you break it into 2, still it germinates. So that's why ants, they break that into 4, so that they will never germinate and become a seedling in the future. Now the question is, how is it that the ants know that the normal grains have to be broken into 2 and the coriander has to be broken into 4? This is the question in front of the scientists. They are not able to understand. The answer is given here that the Supreme Lord, He is the source of creation, maintenance and destruction. How does the tiny ant know that current season is summer and very soon there is going to be rainy season and winter season? Even human beings don't know unless they are educated. They just go on living. Ant knows. And not only that, the ant knows that when there is a rain and all these things, it will not be able to move around. At that time, how food will come? See, it is already planning. It has its own godowns. And then it is storing all these grains. But then when you store like that, it may become again germinate and then it may lose the grain. No, it breaks into 2. See? Where is this intelligence coming? Ants doesn't have universities. Their maintenance is automatically arranged. They do not require any education just to get maintenance. Maintenance is taken care by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though they don't have any education. This is the intelligence. So they are very surprised that the ants are exhibiting such intelligence. So it may not be easy to directly perceive the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, the supreme authority of the Supreme Lord, but by seeing these activities, one can understand, yes, there is a brain behind all these arrangements. Someone has made these arrangements and there is a brain. Brain means there is an intelligence, and intelligence and brain means personal feature. There is a personality. Only a person can have brain and intelligence. Some power or light, they are impersonal energies. So, as soon as we see that there is a personal care, personal arrangement, then we know that there must be a personality behind all this, and that is Krishna, that is Vishnu. He lovingly makes all these arrangements. The scientists who are trying to understand this creation, they are still at the level of atoms. How will they understand the affection of the Supreme Lord? They are stuck in atoms and molecules. They have not even come up to the level of understanding one more human being or one more living entity. They think these living entities are also combinations of atoms and molecules. So how can they understand the affection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And look at the systems that He has made. Even the tiny ants are able to figure out that yes, I have to do this, I have to do that. So this is the glory of the Supreme Lord. So here Prabhupada is explaining that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and in this world there are three functions: creation, maintenance, and destruction. These three departments are also indicated as Rajoguna, Satoguna, Tamoguna. These are the three departments. And there are departmental heads are there. One department focuses on the creation, that is headed by Lord Brahma, he is a HOD. And then there is destruction, that's one more department, that is headed by Maheshwara, Shiva. And the Supreme Lord, who is above both of them, He takes care of the maintenance. Krishna is the original Vishnu, and He expands as Vishnu and takes care of this particular function. This is the Supreme Lord's glory. Creation and dissolution. Although there are some departmental heads, still those functions are controlled by the Supreme Personality of God. Under the will of the Supreme Lord, creation happens or destruction happens. It's not that destruction can happen independently. Anybody can decide anything and destroy. No. Even for destruction, the Supreme Lord has to agree. There is a will that is required. So both the creation and destruction are under the control of the Supreme Lord, but He does it through these exalted, powerful personalities, Brahma and Shiva. So this is the understanding. So Prabhupada is saying only Vishnu he can maintain. It is discussed that out of all these functions, creation, destruction and maintenance is the most difficult function. It is most complicated and intricate to maintain. Actually, building is easier because that time there is it's a one-time activity. But for example, this temple building, so many people came forward, so many devotees, and by their help and support and by the hard work of the devotees of the mission, the temple came up. After temple comes up, then there is a maintenance. Day after day, month after month, week after week, year after year, you have to ensure that the temple is kept intact. It is kept clean, it is kept properly, so that Jai Radha Govinda, so that the deities are pleased. So this is maintenance. And sometimes we have to destroy also. For example, previously there is a small prasadam counter here, and because it is not sufficient, devotees are increasing, more prasadam is required, more paraphernalia is required. So we have destroyed a little portion, but it is extended. Generally, these three modes will be combined, then only there is something possible. So similarly, actually your ultimate goal is to expand, that means create something. It involves little destruction also. A little portion you have to destroy, and then create the rest of the construction. So but both of these cannot happen without the permission, without the will of the maintenance department. First we have to call them and ask them, Ribol, what do you say? He says, yeah, go ahead, I'll say. And then they can take up this work. This is so common sense actually. In any institution, if you see, the in charge, the ultimate in charge will be responsible all the functions, but there can be departments who are executing the individual functions. It is like that. So whenever we talk about three, we should know that there must be one who is controlling these three. This is common sense. Moment we think about anything, two or three, then there must be one who is controlling all this, and that one, that is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna is the, by his will, Tumi Sarveshwareshwara Brajendra Kumara. Then what is that verse? Tumara Icha Vishnu Karena Srujan Brahma Karena Srujan. There is one song like that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. By his will only this creation, maintenance and destruction happens. Krishna is not directly involved. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He has no departments to handle. Then what is he doing? He is simply enjoying in his Vrindavan with all the Gopa and Gopi friends. That's all. This is the picture of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has, there is no responsibility of some creation, maintenance and destruction. No. The real glory of Krishna is not in this creation, maintenance and destruction. The real glory is how he deals with his devotees, how he is exchanging rasa, relationship with his devotees. This is Krishna. That loving relationships with the devotees, that constitutes Krishna's glory. Not construction, destruction and maintenance of this material world. This material world is considered only a portion of his energies operating here. Ekamshena sthito jagat. This is only a portion of, 1/4 of his energy is active here and implementing all this creation, maintenance and destruction. And then in that other 3/4 energy, the Lord's various leelas are continuously going on. And this material world, which has got a destruction, that means it is not permanent. So something which is temporary, construction, maintaining and destruction of something temporary cannot be the glory, cannot be the complete glory of the Supreme Lord. Something which is very temporary, kuch karke dikha, was over. That cannot be the glory. For example, the government of India, government of the state, let us say local state is there, and then let us say they are constructing a big prison, a Naya prison house, with all the amenities and interesting facilities and all that. They are building one prison house, and then maybe they maintain for some time, and then there may be some day. So construction of the prison house cannot be the glory of the government. The Prime Minister will not come into the public and say, see, I have built 5-star prison houses, please vote for me. He will not say, because he knows nobody will vote. That is not his glory. That is not his complete glory. But yes, although this doesn't constitute his complete glory, but nonetheless, Krishna's glories can be seen in this world. By understanding these arrangements, a devotee knows the hand of the Lord is there in each and every aspect of the things that are going on in this world. So here specifically it is mentioned, Vishnu takes charge of the maintenance, and no one can maintain the whole creation but he. Why maintenance is so difficult? Because so many types of demands will be there. Here Prabhupada is saying there are innumerable living entities and they have innumerable demands. And no one can but Vishnu can fulfill these innumerable demands of the innumerable living entities. How Prabhupada is using the English. Only Vishnu can satisfy the innumerable demands of the living entities. So there are 4 lakh species of human beings. 4 lakh species. And every species has their own demands. And within the species there are innumerable living entities, innumerable human types. And they all have their own requirements. And this is one. But there are other 80 lakh species are there. There are birds, there are animals, there are trees, the insects, bacteria, virus, COVID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are so many numbers are there. Each one has their own demand. And Krishna, as Vishnu, has to satisfy all these demands. Not easy. That's why what Vishnu does is, he expands himself as Paramatma. And very affectionately, he lives with the living entity in the heart of the body. Now here is the observation that the bodies that we see all around, that is not the person. Inside this body is the person. And that is called living entity, Jiva. And along with the Jiva, there is Paramatma. There is Atma and there is Paramatma. What we see at each other, that's not the person. The person is inside. He is known as Atma. And next to him is Paramatma. With Shankhu Chakra Gadha Padma, the Supreme Lord is also next to the Jiva. But the Jiva is not looking at him, but it is looking at the other side. Bahirmukha, it is called. When the Jiva, Bhogavancha Kare, when it wants to enjoy independent of the Supreme Lord, then Bahirmukha, it actually turns his face away from the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, Lord is there next to him. Instead of depending on the Supreme Lord, the Jiva turns his face away from him, and then he tries to feed itself, protect itself, and struggle in this existence. This is called struggle for existence. Manasastan indriyani karshati. Why the living entity is struggling? Because it has forgotten that my maintenance is already been taken care of by the Lord. It has forgotten. My protection, my maintenance is already been decided and it is arranged. You saw the arrangement done to the ants. Why not Krishna does these arrangements for me? So because of that faithlessness, godlessness, people struggle. The struggle for existence is because we do not want to depend on God's arrangements and we want to create our own arrangements for all this. That's why there is so much of problem. For example, it is said that some of these developed countries, sometimes when they produce a lot of milk or they produce tons and tons of grains, when there is a lot of production is there, then the rates will come down, the price will come down. So instead of if the transportation cost will be very high, so what they do, these tons of grains and milk, sometimes they throw it into the ocean, throw it into the water. But that is easier. Easier means that is cheaper than transporting to, say, some countries where food is required, some countries where milk is required, and feed them. That is very costly. So because of the GDP calculations, their thinking is, why should I waste my price and so much of money and transport this? Just throw it here. It makes sense from economic point of view, but it doesn't make sense from a maintenance point of view. Lord Vishnu, he has sent the grains to the human society under the charge of the leaders, but the leaders, by their concocted theories of GDP and this and that, they just simply throw or mismanage this grains and food that is otherwise required for so many other living entities. Now in this world, the world has reached, according to some people, that this is the pinnacle of the civilization. Now we have reached the greatest level. Now we are thinking of artificial intelligence. So many things are going on, and then the hunger and poverty is increasing day by day. Now where is this world going wrong? It is going wrong because they are not bothered about the mission of Vishnu. They are not bothered. That's why Prabhupada is saying here, one should beget a child who can help the mission of Vishnu. One should beget a child like that. But people have no training. If they beget children without proper understanding, proper samskaras, then what happens is the children so produced will be, their behavior will be so horrible that even parents will fear. Even the parents are horrified of their children. This is the kind of scenario that we are seeing today. But actually, the child should be so trained up, he is so brought into this life that he should become, he should be part of the mission of the Supreme Lord. The parents should be very eager that my child should be part of the mission of the Lord. This should be their target. And if that is the target, the parents can produce innumerable children, not an issue. Let them produce 10 children and give 9 to Hare Krishna movement. No issue. To help the mission of Vishnu. This is mission of Vishnu. Hare Krishna movement is mission of Vishnu, mission of Krishna. And then, so the parents, if their target is, yes, we will produce a lot of children, and then we'll nicely make them devotees, and then so that they can become part of this mission, they can help this mission, that is very good. But if there is no such a plan, if they want married life only for some sense enjoyment, they have no idea of even producing a child, then that kind of a marriage is not sacred. That is not. That is like any other animals that we see. They also produce children, but there is no, as the animals increase, cats and dogs, it will only create trouble. So similarly, if the children are produced without proper samskaras and without training, they simply disturb the social order. They become they're destructive elements. So that's why here Kardama Muni, he is saying, yes, Vishnu is the supreme authority, and to help his mission, I will follow the order given by my father to get married and to produce children. And then he is wanting to produce only one child. And who is the child? He is going to be the expansion of the Supreme Lord, known as Lord Kapila. So one should able to bring such exalted personalities into this world. Parents should have the target. I should bring one very exalted person into this world who can be part of the mission of the Supreme Lord. Or he is and why not? If the parents are very powerful devotees, they can even bring one expansion of the Supreme Lord into this world. So this should be the ideals of Grihastha life. This should be the mood of Grihastha life. If there is no such plan, then there is no need of planning haphazard marriages. And when somebody enters into such haphazard, disorganized marriages, they cannot sustain that marriage. See, sustain means maintenance. Nowadays, maintenance of the marriages is a big issue. So that's why the couple should worship Vishnu. If they want to sustain their marriages, then they have to worship Vishnu. Vishnu, Krishna, only by their blessings and their direction, one will be able to manage their marriages. So here Kardama is praying, and he is saying he is not interested in some numberless children to fill up the vacancies in this universe, but rather he wants to bring one moon, not thousands and thousands of stars. He wants to bring one moon into this thing. So worshipping of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, that is the only path of auspiciousness. Here Kardama Muni is saying that path is called Paramahamsa, the path of Paramahamsas, the path by which one becomes free from envy day by day. One should be free from envy day by day, and then it doesn't matter where is he should contribute to the mission of the Supreme Lord. Any questions? Prabhupada ki jai.